Good morning, everybody. This is Larry Matakowski, Larry with the Man Store. We help send the American worker home safely, and this is our Toolbox talk for Southern Safety. Our guest today is Kurt Nussle with Dyneema, and we're going to be talking about fabric that we're going to be talking about the company that produces the fabric that goes into the cut-resistant gloves that a lot of you folks may be wearing out there. We're going to be talking about the fabric, what's unique about Dyneema, and the different types of hand protection that are available out there. So, Kurt, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
And you can find a lot of what we're talking about if you go to themanstoreonline.com. Just do a keyword search for Dyneema. That's D-Y-N-E-E-M-A. Okay. Kurt, give us a little. Let's start off with a little background on Dyneema.
Yeah. So Dyneema, just to be clear, Dyneema is actually a fiber, not a fabric, but it is made into fabrics, which are then sewn into cut-resistant gloves, bullet-resistant vests, vehicle armor, and even commercial marine and sports like ropes, fishing line, etc. So Dyneema is a functioning business unit of Royal DSM, which is an international company based on health, nutrition, and sustainability.
So people who wear gloves may just think Dyneema makes.
Correct. That's a great point.
You know, you guys are into a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're into a lot of stuff. We're actually the world's largest manufacturer of vitamins. Dyneema, though, is one of our products. It's also, like I said, a functioning business unit of Royal DSM. And Dyneema is the fiber that goes into all those different applications. It was, Royal DSM, our parent company, started in 1902, originally as Dutch state mines. In the time about the 40s, we transitioned to a chemical company, and then in the 90s, we started to become focused on sustainability, nutrition, and health.
Okay, so we're going to be focusing on hand protection today. Want to get into the cut standards, the different ANSI standards for cut resistance, and but let's talk about medical costs associated with hand injuries out in the field.
Yeah, great. That's a great place to start. So the direct cost of hand injuries in the U.S. annually is $740 million. That doesn't even factor in the indirect costs, which is lost wages, lost productivity, and increases in premiums. So we're talking hand cuts. We're talking hand and wrist, 100%. So what's really
happening? Cut. It could be an impact.
Yep. So these figures add up real quickly. We're talking $2,000 for your average laceration. For stitches, an average laceration is going to be about $10,000. And then if you sever a tendon, God forbid, you're talking a minimum of $70,000 and up. So, what the biggest overall message I want to get to everyone know is these injuries are preventable. So 90% of hand injuries are preventable by wearing the right gloves, and of those 90%, 70% of the reportable injuries that happen, the workers weren't wearing gloves, period. And the reason most often given is comfort. So lack of comfort's there, they just don't wear the gloves at all.
All right, so let's talk about some of those. Yeah. I mean, what does Dyneema offer as far as, or why do folks like Dyneema?
Yeah, so Dyneema is inherently a stronger, thinner fiber than alternative fibers. So oftentimes, glove manufacturers will mix in fiberglass into the glove to enhance the cut score. But what happens when you do that is, in the process of manufacturing the glove, fiberglass can inherently become splintered. So you're going to feel that on your hand as a wearer, especially on the
So there's no fiberglass in Dyneema?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, our gloves are able to achieve a higher cut level without the need of filler products. You can get an A4 glove with a single fiber solution.
Okay. What about some of the physical characteristics of Dyneema as far as washability, durability?
Yep. So going back to costs, oftentimes buyers and purchasers and wearers focus on the individual glove cost and think that I'm going to lower my cost by buying a cheaper glove. Well, with Dyneema, the fiber and the glove lasts longer. You can launder the glove, therefore doubling your longevity of it. So our gloves are, again, they're more dexterous because the fiber itself is thinner. What's unique about Dyneema fiber, and again goes back to why people want to wear the gloves, is once you put the glove on your hand, you'll notice that your hand cools down roughly about 10 degrees, whereas competitive fibers, and especially leather gloves, your hand is actually getting warmer. So again, people don't want to wear the glove because their hand's sweating, and that's when you're at risk for injury.
So the longevity of the glove is the fabric is there. So that means when you're giving out Dyneema gloves, in your toolbox talk, tell your employees to take care of the glove.
Yep.
Because, you know, if they're not, they're gonna go back to hand protection, it's not gonna work as well. So, you know, treat it like a tool.
Yeah. So a lot of our licensees, you know, many of whom you work with, Radians, PIP, and Majestic, they'll actually go into a manufacturer or a company and do what's called a glove assessment, a needs assessment first, to make sure that they have the appropriate level of cut protection for them. Many times companies are going overboard because they feel that, you know, a higher level of cut protection is better. But going back to comfort, maybe you're not getting the dexterity you need, so your workers won't actually wear those gloves.
Let's talk about the ANSI standards for cut resistance now. There's the new standard just came out about what?
2016, yep.
2 years ago. So it used to be, well, now there's basically 9 different categories,
Yep.
different ANSI standards. And then there's also called an EN standard on the glove. So I want to touch on that a little bit as well, because there's a difference between the EN. An EN5 is not an ANSI 5. And sometimes it could be pawned off or sold as that, and you got the wrong glove.
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's get into the standards real quick.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. So back in 2016, ANSI updated its standards to take it from 5 initial cut levels, A1 through A5, to 9 cut levels. And the reason was because cut level 3, 4, and 5 are very broad categories. And what determines a cut level is the amount of weight / pressure that's necessary to actually cause the glove to fail, to cut through the glove on the TDM 100.
So all the glove manufacturers use the same,
Correct. You have to.
the same test.
Yep. We cut a piece of fabric off the
Consistent.
palm. It's consistent. We have to run tests 3 different ways to make sure that you get an average. And again, once you get that number, that's your cut level, and that helps determine what your needs are. So if you're in general packaging, an A2 level glove is going to be perfect for you. If you start getting into, you know, meat and butchery, heavy glass manufacturing, heavy metal, then you get to the higher levels, A7, A8, and even A9.
Okay.
But for most people, A2 and A4 are going to be sufficient for them.
Okay, so, and getting back to the standard, if the package, if you have a glove that says EN4, EN5, typically that's going to be an ANSI translated to ANSI 3 or 4. So an EN is typically one higher number.
Yeah, let me give it a little.
There could be there's confusion.
There's absolutely confusion, and a lot of manufacturers maybe use that to their advantage because it's easier to put out a lower cut level glove that looks like a higher cut level glove by the confusion created through EN and ANSI. When you're buying a glove, ANSI is what's used in the US. Make sure it has an A in front of it. The A is the cut level, so you can see A1 through A9. If you see another number without an A, that's typically an EN standard, which is the European standard. It's extremely important, again, when you're working with your glove reps to get a needs assessment done so that you're getting the appropriate glove for the application.
Okay, and then we're going to do a little show and tell. So, for instance, I'm wearing a few gloves here that are from Radians. The man store is a distributor of Radians, and right on the glove, on the back of the hand, it'll say A3. So that's what you want to look for, the ANSI standard. It'll be A2 to A9. This is clearly marked A3. This glove by Radiance is a nice high-vis color with a really nice dexterity. It's a black, this would be a nitrile coating, so it's very resistant to chemicals, lubricants, and still keep the dexterity and grip. You know, speaking of dexterity, touch real quick on the gauge. There's different gauges of gloves. You might see that on descriptions.
Yeah, another great thing to bring up. So, generally speaking, what gauge refers to is the number of stitches per inch to make a glove. So the higher the number of stitches, the thinner the fiber actually is to make that glove. The lower the number of the gauge, the thicker the fiber is. So what that means from a dexterity standpoint is the old standard, most people were making 13 gauge gloves because people are used to them.
The higher the number, the more dexterity. Right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So the higher the number.
So if you're seeing a single digit number on the gauge, the dexterity is not going to be as good as say a 16.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Getting back to our show and tell on the gloves. Now here's another. This is an A4 clearly marked glove by Radians. Again, if you go to Dyneema, just type in Dyneema at themanstoreonline.com, you'll find this glove. But again, this is the dexterity is great, but you have also the back of the hand impact protection on this glove. Probably a great glove for pipeliners, anyone dealing with
Automotive
oil,
especially.
Automotive?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone, at risk of smacking the back of their hand or hitting their hand with a tool.
And what's great about the design about this glove in particular is you're not losing dexterity. You can see that they really took a lot of time in the development of the glove. That you're able to still flex your fingers, but you still have full protection from back of the hand.
And you can wash these. You're not going the fiber's not going to break down. What are you wearing now?
So I've got one of Majestic's gloves on. It's their A3. It's a new style from them. It's phenomenal. It's an 18 gauge glove. And then I'm also wearing a sleeve. So sleeves are a big. They're becoming more and more popular now. Dyneema is becoming more prevalent in sleeves because, again, of the cooling factor.
So you have the back of the hand protection, or I should say back of the forearm protection.
Yeah, this is a great product by PIP that they put out. Like you said, phenomenal wrist protection here.
That's a Majestic product?
This one, I believe.
Yeah, that's a Majestic product. That's right. And now you can get this with a thumb hole, and I think without a thumb hole.
Correct, yep.
And there's a couple different lengths. So we're going to wrap up here soon, but PIP does have some really nice options on the Dyneema from, I believe, PIP goes up to A6, A7. Okay. And there's different coatings. You can get the polyurethane coating, the latex coating, the foam nitrile. Okay, so hopefully you guys got some value from this. For more information on Dyneema, again, go to themanstoreonline.com, type in the keyword Dyneema, you'll see a boatload of options from there. Stay tuned for our next Toolbox Talk. If you go to our Facebook page at the Man Store, for the Man Store, like it. We're going to be announcing our future Toolbox Talks there. Hope you guys got some value. Kurt, thanks a lot for coming out, and we'll catch you guys soon.
Thank you.
We're out.